sweat. You gotta got a better check. You gotta got a better check. Let's sweat. We're gonna go ahead and get it rocking and rolling. As y'all tune in, please like, share, subscribe. You understand? Facebook, YouTube, like, share, subscribe. We're gonna get it rocking and rolling. You understand? We're gonna get it set up. You understand? Shalom Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shem Allah Thumb Shem Yahshua all the sisters. You understand? Let's clap it up. Clap it up. You understand? Christians and Bible studies and a whole lot of white people and professors try to mix this as this is the Arabs. That this is talking about the Arabs. Everything's good? I know, so give me a second, everybody. You understand? Once again, Salagi for the technical difficulties. We back live with it. You understand? One more time, y'all just clap it up for me. Back live with it. Shalom, y'all. To all the brothers that's tuning in, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Shalom, y'all. Shout out to all the sisters that's tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe on the stream, Facebook, and YouTube. You understand? Tonight is Monday Night History class. Preaching Officer Barak. You understand? What we going into is the history of Jacob and Esau as of right now. We're going into the history of Jacob and Esau, how Jacob got this inheritance, how he got the birthright. You understand? The shot calling, the amazing shot calling that the sister Rebecca did. We're going to go into the whole 9 yards, you understand, as much as possible, revolving around Jacob and Esau. To catch everybody up as y'all tune in, you understand, we started at Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. You understand? Now we at Genesis chapter 25, verse, we at 25 or 26? 25. We at 25, go ahead.
Salah, 20.
Genesis 25 and 25. Start from
we at 26, but I'm going to start. You would say start from
Genesis
25 and 25. Mm-hmm. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
Now this babies come out, you understand, at a different shade, different color all the time. And it's come out as this reddish, bloodyish color. But this baby that came out, the first one that came out was red. I'm talking about a deep red. Like it. I'm talking about a deep red. Yes, red. What you got?
Slocky Bob Shot. I would say it actually gives a description of how Esau came out because he was completely different from his father.
That's right. That's right. That's heavy. You understand? This one right here came out red and hairy like a garment. Any of y'all that's ever seen, you understand, Esau, y'all know that this is the one creature. This is the Bible. It has ways that is manifold in describing who this person is. How do you align that Esau is these people? How do you align that Jacob is these people? Israelites is these people? And you can use many different things: geographic location, the culture, the holidays, the culture and the way they dress, how they talk, the language, the area, all that in the above. You can use it all. Now, one of the ways in describing Esau was saying that he was red and he was hairy all over. When you look at today's society, Christianity and religion painted off as the Israelites died off. You understand, which makes it about what? It turns it into a magical book. It turns into something that's not, isn't what's supposed to last forever. What's inside of it can't be that important because the Israelites died off. Israel don't live today. That's why we all grew up in the Christian church. And the majority of us, I don't know about y'all, never heard the word Israel ever. I know for a fact I didn't. You understand? I knew that white, that cloth. I knew this right here. I knew this right here. We had to go to the bathroom, but I ain't know nothing about Israel when I was growing up in the Christian church. You understand? They treat it as Israel just died off, right? Whereas scriptures like this make who it is that this was relating to today, and this is one of them. The scripture says that he was hairy all over, a red baby, hairy all over. When you look at today's society, what race of people is hairy all over? You understand? It speaks for itself. Who's hairy all over, got hair on their hands, unibrows, right?
Our oppressor.
Our oppressor, you're right. You understand? Our oppressor is hairy all over. Got hair on his earlobes, his neck, his back, everywhere, literally. You understand? And an extreme amount of hair. Keep reading.
Come. And they called his name Esau. Verse 26.
Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out. Mm-hmm. And his hand took hold of Esau's heel.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And his name was called Jacob.
Mm-hmm. Now remember what we said in the scripture above, in the verse, 23, it read that the older would serve the younger. Right? Now, Jacob was the second one that came out, meaning he was the what? He was the younger, right? Keep reading. We had 26, 27, 26. Go ahead.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Mm-hmm. Verse 27. And the boys grew. Mm-hmm. And Esau was a cunning hunter.
Esau was a cunning hunter. Keep going.
A man of the field.
You understand? Esau today is known as the Edomites. It's known as Esau, known as a race, known as Caucasian or the white man. The white man is really not white. He's a transparent. Everything hates his skin, the sun, everything. Can't go outside in a certain temperature. You understand? This is exactly describing our oppressor. You understand? It says that he was a cunning hunter and a man of the field. Being that he was a cunning hunter, you have to look today. Our oppressor has hunted this entire earth, has hunted our door. If you're black, Native, or Hispanic, he's hunted your doorstep, your pillowcase, everything, your job, you understand, your marriage, your relationship, the whole 9 yards. Esau's absolutely hunted it, and he's a cunning hunter. Can anybody tell me what cunning means?
Good. I'll say deceivingly smart.
Deceivingly smart, crafty. You understand? That crafty counsel in the book of Psalms, what is it, chapter 83? That our oppressor was a crafty, he's a cunning hunter. You understand? They got camouflage suits. They got suits that have been blending with the wood and blending with all these different things. You understand? This was our oppressor. Hold your point right. We're gonna bring it the next Bible, okay? I'm gonna clap it up one more time for me. It's a lot.
Most high, great, good brother, man. All right. Shalom, DCs. This is a Monday history class. It's like, bro, turn the mic on. This is history Monday class. So for the past 2 days, we've been going through the history of Maccabees. It's very important. You know, this is history that actually happened. Like we read about how this is during the time of the Greeks, of their kingdom rising. We read about Alexander the Great. Nobody will never know that Alexander the Great was in the Bible unless we brought it out. Right. And it just showed, like, after he died, how he passed on his authority and split his authority in the kingdoms and land and territory that he conquered, how he split that up, and how Greece continued to thrive. And they went to different nations and told them to leave their gods and to leave their religions, and now to follow the religion of Greece, which happened today. You know, America is called the mixing pot, and a lot of times what you'll see, like me, like living in DC. DC is this what they call it, like a transit city, metropolitan city, meaning a lot of people that's now in DC are not from DC. So you got so you'll have a lot of DC natives who've been, you know, gentrified and pushed out of DC and they live somewhere else. Right. So, but to bring to my point, America in general is called the melting pot. And when they come over here, you have Chinese people, you have dot head East Indians, you have Asians, anybody, and they'll come over here and they'll become Americanized. I know Arabs from Palestine who grew up in Palestine all the way up into the early 20s, and they've been worshiping Allah all their lives. And then when they come over to America, take a little bit. When they come over to America, they celebrate Christmas. You got I know East Indians, whatever they were doing before, you know, they're worshiping their gods, and then when they came over to America, now they celebrate American holidays, and they leave their culture. And a lot of times their parents will be mad at them because their parents raised them up to worship Buddha, right? To follow the ways of Hindu, and to be, you know, to follow Allah. And once they come over to America, they drop Allah, they drop Hindu, they drop Buddha, they drop all those things, and now they celebrate Christmas, Easter, and they just worship the oppressor, the white man. Right. So that has always happened, and that's what's happening here. We're reading we're picking up on Maccabees chapter 3, where now we're fighting the Greeks. We're fighting King Antiochus, who's trying to get us, who's killing us for not following his laws, for not following his religion. And now you got brothers like Mattathias and his sons who now are standing up for God, and they will not celebrate Christmas. They won't worship Zeus. They won't worship any Greek gods. They decide to fight and die in the name of the Most High Christ.
Right.
I'm sorry, in the name of the Most High.
Right.
Oh, so like actually in the name of the Most High Christ. Christ, this is after Christ.
Right.
Where we at? So what we're gonna pick back up at is we're gonna pick back up at in First Maccabees chapter 2. We're gonna pick up First Maccabees chapter 2. Verse 34. This is where you had some Israelites who left. Go ahead.
Stop if I may. That's what we picked up last time we first started. At 34, and I got us all the way down to 51.
And what, chapter 2?
Chapter 2. Okay.
Okay, let's do that. That's what I say, 30 what?
34.
Let's pick up 34, then we're gonna drop down just to catch everybody up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and start for me.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 34. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the things commandment to profane the Sabbath day.
Okay, so hold on. So now these are the Israelites who left the city of Modin, but you had two groups. You had a group of men who were Maccabees who were going to fight no matter what. This is a group of Israelites who who stood up and had courage, who was not going to worship King Antiochus and drop and leave the Most High and turn their back on the Most High laws, but they were simple because they thought, because it's our law that the Sabbath is a holy convocation, right. And the Sabbath is a day of rest, a day from no servile work.
Right.
So you got to understand. Some people didn't understand that the day of Sabbath is no servile work. You shouldn't slave, but also, it's your day of rest. Like you can rest, but it's not that. And some people take it as, I'm not going to lift a finger. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. That's not what that is. It's just no servile work, but you can do what you want. If you want to exercise on the Sabbath, if you want to play basketball, whatever, it's just a rest from servile work. But some people took it as, you'll read that some people took it as, I'm not going to do anything. So these Israelites here, that's why you have these Israelites here. They said, I'm not going to worship the king. I'm not going to follow the Greeks' religion, but I'm also not going to fight them if they try to kill us because it's a Sabbath. And we're going to find out how wrong they were. Read on.
Verse 35. Mm-hmm. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Verse 36. Howbeit, they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stop the places where they lay hid. 37. But said, let us die all in our innocence.
Right. So it's like, let us die in all our innocence. Meaning this. Imagine somebody's coming to attack you, but you won't fight them back. That's the same thing. That's the same thing Christians don't understand. Misinterpret the scriptures when they say Christ said, "Turn the other cheek." Like you get punched in the face, and a Christian would teach you, "Turn the other cheek," meaning let them punch you on a left cheek. No, that's not what that means. Same thing with the Sabbath here. They won't fight. They won't defend themselves because of the so-called Sabbath. Mm-hmm. And they say, you know what? We're going to stand there and let them kill us. And we're going to stand in the sight of the Most High. Let the Most High see that, we kept the Sabbath. We decided not to follow the king, but we also decided not to fight because of the Sabbath. And they thought that they looked glorious in front of the Most High. Go ahead.
It's like I have a precept. Mark 2, 27, verse 28. Mm-hmm. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath.
Right. Meaning The Sabbath is made for us to give us rest. We can do what we want on the Sabbath, and during that time, you gotta understand. Once you're not at home, things change. Just like this, we are not in Israel right now, are we? We're not in Israel now, and some of us have to slave on the Sabbath. You got to slave. Now, if we were in our homeland, would we be slaving on the Sabbath? Hell no. We wouldn't be doing it to serve our work. But right now, we have to slave. The Sabbath was made for men, was made for us, not us made for the Sabbath. Meaning, when the Sabbath comes, it's like we give the Sabbath the respect. It's like, okay, happy Sabbath. We got to keep the Sabbath and keep it, and we're not treating it like, no, the Sabbath is made for you, not the man made for the Sabbath. Go ahead, bro.
So, like, if I make too what you're saying so heavy, like, I remember John Muhammad that broke it down before. He gave an example. Like, it's a lot of brothers, there's a lot of children that's really hurting on that day because some fake Israelite believe that you can't do nothing on the Sabbath. Like, they starving their baby, starving their infant. You know what I mean? Like, they not doing the things that a normal like parent would do. And the baby, it's a baby, a couple months years old. I remember John Muhammad breaking that down. It was just so heavy, like how it can get miscued as I can't do anything. I can't turn on the light, can't turn on the heat, can't turn on the cool.
So they they mentioned they just like this Israelite brother said, meaning, you know what I'm saying? Don't diss them. They just doing this out of ignorance. They think they're doing the right thing. Right. They think they think that this is glorious to the Most High, meaning though, okay, Most High, I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna keep the Sabbath and keep it holy, but so they don't understand that, it's the spirit behind it is they respect the Sabbath more than themselves. Meaning, oh, it's the Sabbath, I'm not gonna cook anything. Oh, it's the Sabbath, I'm not gonna push anything on the microwave. I'm not gonna push a button on the microwave. Mm-hmm. Or like how you saying, you're gonna starve your child until sundown. So that's them putting the Sabbath before themselves. But if you reverse it, it's you keeping the Sabbath, you do the Sabbath service, you don't go to work, but you can cook. You can, press start in the microwave button and not be an idiot. Right. But this is all out of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? You don't, you just tell, if you ever teach somebody the Sabbath, you just teach them like that. If they get too proud, then you smash them or blaze on them. But if not, because they really, and then you got to think about it. In their mind, they think that they're doing the right thing. So just like them right here, they thought, okay, I'm not going to, because they weren't cowards. You got to understand, there was cowards that actually went with King Antiochus and cowards that actually say, I'm going to eat the pork. These brothers and sisters right here said, I'm not going to eat pork. I'm not going to stop worshiping the Most High. I'm not going to stop. So they would stand up. They just were ignorant on the Sabbath. Right. On what to do on the Sabbath. Right. So they decided, okay, I'm not going to fight on the Sabbath. And then we're going to read how brothers fought on the Sabbath for the sake of the lineage of the Israelite lineage. Right. They fought for the law, to keep the laws going. They fought for the records of the scrolls and the records of all the prophets before them. They understood, I got to fight on the Sabbath, and we're gonna read that. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 37. But say, let us die in all our innocence. Heaven and earth shall testify for us. So
I actually seen that with somebody that was close to me. I thought he was just scared of this other person. It was two family members that was fighting, and one family member didn't want to fight the other one. So the one family member grabbed his neck and was choking him, and he just stood there. He said, "No, I'm not even gonna fight him back. If he's trying to harm me, I'm gonna let that blood be on him." Like, I had a family member that actually did that, and I'm like, "No, you just don't know. You scared to fight him or something." Mm-hmm. But he was like, "Nah, you know what? I'm gonna let if he gonna put me to sleep or whatever he does, that will be on him." Right. And I'm like, "No, punch him back. Don't let anybody choke you, bro." Right. But he had let him do it. So that's the same thing was going on here. Where it's really like, you know what? If they kill us, that blood is on that bad blood and is on these heathens.
Right.
We kept the Sabbath.
Right.
Which was not they weren't, which was not the right spirit. Go ahead.
That you put us to death wrongfully.
I'm gonna let that blood be on you. You put us to death wrongfully. The Lord gonna remember. Go ahead. That's what they were saying in their mind. That's what they were saying. Go ahead.
Verse 38. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them for their wives and children. Well, with their wives and children slaughtered.
So now their wives and children died because they wanted to keep the Sabbath.
Right.
Remember, Sabbath is made for the men. Now that's them. This is an example how they think the Sabbath, that they are made for the Sabbath and not the Sabbath made for them. They let the Sabbath take hold on them and not they taking hold of the Sabbath.
Right.
That's a good example of it. Of the precept you pull. Go ahead.
And they cattle to the number of 1,000 people. Verse 39. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof,
Top of verse 38. Top of verse 38.
Come. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children, and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people. Verse 39. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore.
Right. So now Mattathias, if you meet the Israelites today who lets the Sabbath take control of them and they not taking control of the Sabbath, that's what I said. Don't automatically tease them and chastise them. I mean, you're going to teach them, but don't, clown them because they think they're doing the right thing.
Right.
And you see here, they still mourn for them brothers. Just like you feel sorry for any brother who think he's worshiping the Most High, or think he's doing something for the Most High. He honestly think he's doing it, but he don't know. To your surprise, it was a sister I seen, and she was so happy that she met a UPK because she would keep the Sabbath, and she got a picture of her in a bathtub. She don't have her, she's not naked, it's just showing her feet. But she's in the bathtub, and the picture says keeping the Sabbath, and she got a tray of weed and a roll-up. So some people actually out here that think that they're probably not eating pork, they're probably not homosexual, but they think getting high is okay, and they can say, Most High, I'm high with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? The Most High, he up there, so I gotta get high to be. He the highest, so I gotta get high too. Okay. You get what I'm saying? So they think that. So that's when you meet them. Don't automatically clown them, but if they're proud, then of course you bring them down. Right. If they, too arrogant and proud about doing something stupid like that. But there was a sister who, said the water's ISUPK because there's a picture from last year, or the year before, some years back. And she was like, yeah, I was keeping this. She was keeping happy Sabbath, and she was really happy because she was high, feeling real good. Right. Go ahead.
No, you said she was in the UPK?
No, she said the water. Oh. She's followed. I believe she's a student now. But she was saying she was happy that she met the UPK because we taught her the right way. We taught her you cannot get high. But it's Israelites out here that do get high and will debate you about getting high and saying shalom and thinking they're doing the right thing. Right. So, that's why you got to be most definitely grateful for meeting the UPK or being in the UPK now, wherever you came from, whether you was Christian or another Israelite group, Muslim, atheist, whatever. You would just see your ignorance from the past and then be grateful that you learned what you learned now. All right, read on. So we mourn. So Mattathias mourned for them. Go ahead.
Verse 40. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done and fight not for our lives.
See, this is important. This is important. They did not, the group before, they didn't eat pork. They wasn't homosexual, but they also did not defend. They didn't know, they didn't understand. They had a spirit of defending the Israelite culture, the scrolls, and all that. But this group did. What you about to read now, this is important. Go ahead.
And the laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 41. And at the time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against them. Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places.
Right. So you see in 40, it says, and one of them said, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen. Like you fighting for yourself, but like I said, you're also fighting for the laws. Because you got to remember, this is Greece, but we've been the reason why they know what they know now at that time is because their parents, from generations to generations to generations, like have passed down the laws and passed down the scrolls and the scriptures and the knowledge and the culture. Just like now, the reason that we know now in 2021, this is old. This is thousands of years old, but we still got it. It was important to fight for it, or else we'll just be Uncle Tom's Christians. We'll just be Uncle Tom's. Our top goal in life would be to have sex with a white woman. It would be to get the most money that you can obtain on the earth, and just be vain and show off, materialistic things. Because that's what we learned from America. But now when you come in here, your spirit change. You get knowledge and you change your spirit. And you understand, okay, well, what the hell? This is self-hate. I love, like every black person, I want to get a mixed child. I want my child to have pretty hair. I got to have a mixed child. And like, I can say from my past, like my past, how we was, young boys, and it was in high school, and we would go up Georgetown, DC, and that's what the white kids is. And we used to love to get the white girls' numbers and chase them and feel like, and once you start hanging with the white people, you feel good. I remember me, when me a teenager hanging with Jewish kids, and I walk into their house, and their house was big. One of the children was a child of a senator. Went over their house. His house was big. He had a garden on the top of his roof. I'm like, this ain't, and I felt so good because I wasn't in the ghetto for 3 hours. I'm hanging with these white kids for 3 hours, and I feel good. And now, after them hours over, I go back home to the ghetto, and I'm looking at my own people like, y'all niggas, y'all don't even know where I just came from. I just came from somewhere, and it was cool there. It was crazy. It was, it was heaven. I got to experience heaven and then go back to hell that night. So, I started out, I wanted to hang out with them more. I hung out with them the whole summer. But it was because of the mindset I had. Being a Christian, being Uncle Thomas, like, man, this is where I want to be here. I want to be here. I don't want to be in the ghetto. That was our life before the truth.
Right.
Our life before the truth is vain, self-hate. You value, you look at your own sister, like, you'll grab, you'll run through a black woman, you'll run through a black and Latino woman. Oh yeah, I just had sex with her. Oh yeah, she easy. Hey, go have sex with her. She easy. You get a white woman, you want to keep that one. You might pass her around, or other ones you might want to keep that one and show and walk around the block. Bring a white girl around the block, show her off. Right. I've seen that happen plenty of times. Everybody look at you like, oh, you the man. Oh, you the man. It's all just through slavery and ignorance, man. Right. That's how messed up we are. So then we come into the truth, we learn the truth. Oh God. We wake up and it's much better. You know what I'm saying? It's just better. Right. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 42. Mm-hmm. Then came there unto him.
Oh, but it's like that was my point. My point is we fought. They're gonna fight for the laws, to keep the laws, so they don't change the way we change the way we grew up. Go ahead, read on. That's why I brought that out.
Verse 42. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, mm-hmm. who were mighty men of Israel.
Right. So the Lord brought more. So now, the brothers who decided to fight, the Lord, all of a sudden, now some Assyrians come from, some Israelites come from another city. These are devout men. And, it's like, whoa, look at this, man. 1,000 men come out of nowhere. That's the Lord. Go ahead.
Even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the Lord. Right,
voluntary, meaning they did it on their own will. They decided, you know what? I'm not going to, I'm going to, this is a tall fight, a tall order. Just like you being at UPK. Like, why not go get a government job and just do that? And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go to happy hours and brunches and live it up. And let's roll one. It's easy to doing this. What is this? This is not popular, what we doing. This ain't popular.
Right.
Man, we could be in Miami right now. Mm-hmm. That's with some hoes. Mm-hmm. This is not popular what we doing. Go ahead.
Verse 43. Also, all they had fled.
Oh, Basagin. Yeah. So, but they decided to not go with greed. They decided not to do that, and they decided to they voluntarily devout. They decided, you know what? Just like how we decided now, you know what? Forget Miami. Like I said, we can't go to Miami, but you get what I'm saying. Like, we're not in the world. We ain't gonna go to the strip club. We said, forget the strip club, forget and get high, forget selling drugs, forget scamming, forget all that. You know what? I'm gonna be in the school. I'm gonna put on all black. The sister said they're gonna put on their dress. They're gonna leave their whole ways. They're not gonna be evil monsters. They're gonna decide to learn how to become a princess, learn how to become a true daughter of Zion. And the son said they're gonna learn how to become the prince of power. That's we voluntarily doing that, voluntarily doing this thing right here. We not making nobody same thing with me. Nobody making me be here. Same. So that's what these brothers are. They voluntary devout men. Go ahead.
Verse 43. Also, all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them.
Right. So it's just all cities being conquered by a heathen who's saying, eat pork, don't circumcise your son. And now we're finding each other. Whoever fled the city, now we find somebody else that fled this city. We found a group that fled this city. We found some men that fled that city. And now we all just joining together as one body against King Antiochus, who's coming from Alexander the Great, come from up under him, who has conquered Egypt and most of the known land. Go ahead.
Slav, may I get a real apocrypha? This one has it's misspelled all the words.
Barack, grab one, and then I'll pick up. You got apocrypha, Babash?
No, that's not the way it's. Yeah, that's the way it's written.
Really?
Yeah, that's the way it's written.
Oh, you got? So did you get? Is it the same app you've been using, or you got another one now?
I got another one, but it's the 1611.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, it got the I on there.
I
or the U
and the V for you.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's the 1611. Yeah. But this, you can get one that has the J's and the things like that.
I thought it was just I was going crazy or something.
Nah, that's how it was. Like, it wasn't. It's that 1611. So at that time they wasn't using. That's why you can use this to say there's no that's Jesus is not his name, but we so ignorantly call him Jesus because at 1611 there was no J's to use I, and even I isn't Christ's name.
No, sir.
You had a Y when your house shot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was reading it too, but it was playing my mind.
Yeah, it was hard. You know what I'm saying?
Verse 46. Was it 46?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 43. Mm-hmm. Also, they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them. Verse 44. So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath.
You see that? So now so these men did not say, it's a Sabbath, we're not going to fight. Shabbat Shalom. Can't fight on the Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom. Nah, they didn't say that. They said, we're going to fight because if they kill us, we the last ones. Imagine Like right now, we got family who's all of our family, most of our families in the world, right? Christmas, Mother's Day just passed, Father's Day is coming up, Brittany's birthday is coming up. I got so many cousins and mother's birthdays. My mother's birthday just passed, and of course, I ain't called her. I haven't called her in 10 years on her birthday. So, but we the last right here. Like, if the UPK shut down, like, you gotta understand, there's nothing. Like, as far as no force, no army, no haven for the truth. That's what these brothers are saying. The reason they fighting so hard is because they're saying, like, if we do as our brothers did and did not fight on the Sabbath, then there'll be nobody who gonna keep the records, who gonna keep the scrolls, who gonna continue to teach the children the laws of the Most High.
Right.
Nobody. And that's the same way we gotta fight.
Right.
Like, without this class going on, if all the classes right now in UPK shut down, man, ain't gonna be no truth.
Right.
And that's what these brothers understood.
Okay.
That's why they fighting like that. And the Lord blessed them, because you'll see as they fighting, it's gonna say they found the scrolls. It's because it was stuff that was taken from our land. It was scrolls that was burned up, and it was just things like the Monterey. It was things that was ornaments that was taken from our temples. It was scrolls taken from our temples. And as we fought them and killed them, we got some stuff back. Go ahead and read it.
Come. But the rest fled to the heathens, for succor.
See, the rest fled to the heathens for succor. That's why when you tell your mother, what's the name, I'm not eating pork, they clown you. That's why when you wear your garment, they may clown you. That's why when you celebrate, you tell them, I'm not celebrating Christmas. They try to act like your whole family will team up and try to act like you weird or you the weirdo. Well, really, no, you are Uncle Tom. You don't even know why. All I'm gonna hit it with is, well, why are you celebrating Christmas? I had to ask my father that one time. Like, they can't, when you ask them why they doing certain stuff, they can't tell you. And my father just said, well, I just like Salaki, and no, this is my own pops who made me. I throw out the Most High, that I'm here for him. But he just was like, I just like it because that's what I did as a child. That was his answer. As a child, I celebrate Christmas, so I just like doing it for my children. But they don't have a real, that's not like a real answer. That's just something, of course, he grew up doing it. So it's like, why stop?
Right.
When it's like, okay, you gotta understand certain stuff that we learned is wrong, Pops. So we gotta now try to change it.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 45. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. 46. And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly.
Right, and the reason they circumcised the children is because we were getting killed at that time for circumcising our sons. We would circumcise our son on the 8th day, and you had the heathens who would come and check you. Fight against the kingdom, and we found the children. If they was uncircumcised, we made sure they were circumcised. It's a big stand up. Like, what? Nah, we going to, it's a fight. Same thing. If you in the UPK, you gotta understand you fighting the same fight. Right now, you just have a sword in your hand, but the spiritual war is the same. You are in a spiritual war. Even yourself, your demons and yourself is telling you to go back to the world, and you fighting yourself to say, what the hell are you talking about? Nah, I'm Barak. I'm Shapat. I'm a Quash. I'm not who I was in the world. That we fight a spiritual war on the same scale as this physical war.
Right. When
you go out there on them streets and teach. Let this war right here play out in your head. How these brothers, a small group, is going against a big kingdom who have conquered most of the known world at that time. We fight against a big America right now. I mean, the world, actually. Not even just America. We just living here. But we fight against the world. And that's why we go all around the world and teach the truth. And stir up a big conflict. Go ahead.
Verse 47. And pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their land. 48. So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of kings.
You see that? The kings and the Gentiles that stole our scrolls, we got it right back. The Lord allowed it. The Lord was with them, brothers. And the Lord will be with us, spread the truth. That's why we in here.
Right.
Because the Lord was the men that brought us in here. And we just got to do the same thing that they did, which is fight. Man. Go ahead.
Neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. 49. Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now have pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction, and the wrath of indignation. Indignation.
What verse you at?
49. Verse 50. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the Lord, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
Now that's right there. That was important. That's what it was. Without them brothers there, and without that, the verse of 51 and 50. This is verse 50 should be the top thing in every Israelite's mind in life, because it's taught it's taught in Genesis all the way till now, which is you a father, you a mother, you pass them laws down to your children, and you teach them to pass it down to their children and their children. Verse 50 is important, and that's how you'll get from 2,000 years to now, whereas though we teaching the law now, and this law is so old, or not so old, but it's thousands of years old. It comes from men and women like that, passing the law down. Go ahead.
51. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time.
Right, we got called to remembrance. Call to remembrance what Abraham did, what Christ did, what all the prophets did, what Moses did. We got called to remembrance what they did. And what we're being taught now, what Commander General YAHANNA is teaching, what the generals are teaching, what the captains are teaching. That's why you got to remember. And take note.
Oh, God.
Go ahead. We can skip now. Let me see. We're going to skip right. Take it to... Let me see. Let's start at verse 3, chapter 3, verse 1. Hey, Brock, can you grab me water, bro?
This one isn't open, sir.
All right, the water.
Yeah, actually, let me make sure. Yeah, no, it's not. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not like that. I can show you.
Call out of come. First Maccabees.
Brock, pick up chapter 3.
Chapter 3, verse 1. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 1. Then his son Judas, called Maccabees, rose up in his stead. Verse 2.
So this is not to be confused. This is not the Judas that betrayed Christ. You know, so this Judas is a righteous Judas. And this Judas is the one who rose up to lead after his father Mattathias, his mighty father Mattathias passed away. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. Verse 3.
That's what we fight right now, the battle of Israel.
Right.
Always remember that, man, because Satan will play you, man.
Right.
Will play man and woman. Children mean son and daughter, husband and wife. Satan will play you and make you want to go do something worldly or something that's just not biblical or something against the law. And we'll want to go fulfill our lust or fulfill our flesh and do something so American, which is evil. So we got to remember that we're keeping the battle of it, that we're fighting the battle of Israel. That's what all this stuff for. We're wearing the headpiece, the fringes. We're going out there to teach. We're keeping the Sabbath service. We're keeping the high holy days. What we're doing is the fight. We're keeping the fight of Israel. Go ahead.
SHALAM, as Officer Barack was teaching earlier, that battle has been going on since the womb and Rebecca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Battle been going on forever, man. And we just gotta keep it going. We gotta keep it going until we get back into our kingdom. Because right now, you know what I'm saying, the reason that it's so important because our oppressor is winning or was winning. But as you see more brothers and more sisters fill up the seats in the schools all around, when you go to Passover, you see all them brothers and sisters, it's worth it.
Right.
When you see everybody that comes together, when you see everybody on Facebook, you're like, wow, like I'm not alone. It's other people who believe in this, and we actually trying to come together in one body.
Right.
And keep this thing going until we can establish a kingdom, righteous kingdom. That's the fight. Go ahead.
Verse 3. So he gat his people great honor and put on a breastplate as a giant and girt his warlike harness about him. And he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. In his acts, he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey, for his fad. For he pursued the wicked and sought them out and burned up those that vexed his people.
Right. So you fighting, you burning up those, you physically going to war, physically killing people, physically killing the people who trying to stop them from worshiping the Most High, keeping the laws. And that's how we got to go after Christianity. That's how we got to go after all these religions, because all these religions are stopping us from keeping the Most High laws. That's why we attack Christianity, Islam, and all these religions. That's why we attack the Uncle Tom leaders, I.S.U.P.K and Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King. People mouth, that jaw dropped to the ground every time we mention Martin Luther King as a traitor. Their mind are blown. Like, Martin Luther King, what? Martin Luther King is the rank order is like, white Jesus, then Martin Luther King. Like, Martin Luther King is white Jesus' right hand man. So it's like, you talking about Jesus' right hand now. So go ahead.
Verse 6. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
Right. And this we gotta understand too. We'll make the wicked shrink. Right. Like you gotta understand, like it's been times when we walking through DC, Maryland, and Virginia, people know who we are. Right. Oh, y'all the Israelites, y'all I.S.U.P.K. Right. There been plenty of times we've been up Iris and Mall, and people don't even say y'all the Israelites. They say, are you I.S.U.P.K? So that's how we got, that's what we're doing. Letting the Lord be known through us. Let them know that, you come back to the Most High laws. And that's what we're pushing out here. We're trying to shrink the wicked, fight against their religion and get them back to, the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 7. He grieved also many kings and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial was blessed forever. Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them, and turning away wrath from Israel, so that he was renowned unto the utmost part of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish.
And that's how you got to be. If you want to become renowned in the world, you got plenty of brothers. You got Commander General YAHANNA, renowned. You got General YAHANNA. You got all the generals. You got Captain Tazariak, renowned. Captain Shock, renowned. You see how people act when Captain Shock step around, or Captain Tazariak, all these brothers step around. They because they know that they've been putting in that work, like shrinking the wicked. Captain Tazariak went in New York in the conscious community. These Hotep fools think they know what they're talking about. With Egyptian culture and African culture, the Lord was with Captain Tazariak, and he went and crushed all of them. And anybody that debate with him, he debated them. And there's people that's watching the debate, and they're gonna choose, and they're gonna see who was victorious, and they'll move forward to the victor. Mm-hmm. And Captain Zarg is the victor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Conscious killer. What they call them? Conscious killer things, all kind of names. They knows all kind of names.
Right.
And they come from actually putting in the work and fighting against idols.
Right.
Fighting against these idols and false religions. Same thing with Captain Mashak. He wrote out for crushing the Edomites, crushing these religions, all those things. Go ahead.
That's why I'm actually sitting in this chair right here. Right now, I saw Captain Tazariak battling one of them conscious dudes, and they were talking about the black woman came from an ape, a great ape, and all that. And the way they broke them down, put them in the body bag, zipped it up through the way. You know, I'm sitting right here now. I like
both sides. We got the Captain Tazariak. And brothers, you can do that too, but it comes, just learn, take your notes, become disciplined, pray and fast. You know what I'm saying? You will be a brother that, after you go out there and battle for the Most High, you know what I'm saying? The glory will be on you. You know, so the Most High shine on you, and other brothers and sisters will acknowledge that. Because that's all that is. These brothers just been acknowledged for the work, and the Lord is shining on them. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together and a great host out of Samaria to fight against Israel. Which thing, when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him. And so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Verse 12. Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius swore also, and therewith he fought all his life long. Verse 13. Now when Saran, a prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war. Verse 14, he said, I will get me a name and honor in the kingdom. For I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him, who despise the king's commandment. Mm-hmm. Verse 15. So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel. Verse 16. And when he came near to the going up of Betharon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day?
Right. So this person, Saran, he was not, he was scared. He was going off of numbers. And the Most High don't go over numbers. Go off of numbers. Purposely, the Most High, through time and time again, will use a small number so men would know, I was with you. It wasn't you. You didn't win this war because you got 50,000 men. And you feel comfortable with 50,000 men. I made y'all beat 10,000 men with 1,000 men. Most High purposely would make us win with small numbers to show that I'm with you. So he did that to show I'm with you. You didn't do this on your own, and I can make it happen with a small number. Mm-hmm. Because now, if men do it with a number that they're comfortable with, they'll give themselves the glory. Go ahead.
You got a precept. Judges 7, verse 2. The Lord said, there are too many, and they might boast that it was by their hand. Mm-hmm. They won.
This brother learning and remembering. Remember pull a scripture. He's not even a damn officer pulling them damn scriptures, man. The precepts. That's most definitely right. Judges, read it again. The precept again.
Salah. Yeah, that's not the actual scripture. That was my notes.
Right, but that's exactly. Pull what he pulled. Question. What is it? Judges what?
Judges 7 and 2.
Judges 7 and 2. That's exactly right. The Most High, if he let us fight with a number that we're comfortable with, we'll boast ourselves like, oh yeah, we won. We did it. But now if we go in there with a smaller number, we kind of like a little shaking. We're like, oh, I don't know how. It's only 100 of us, and there's 2,000 of them. How the hell we gonna win this fight? And then 100 of them come out victorious, and they're like, man, this could be nobody but the Lord. The Lord had to be with us for us to be 100 deep and beat 2,000, 3,000 men. The Lord had to be with us. There's no other answer. There's no other answer but the Most High. You got it?
Kind of.
Go ahead.
This is Judges 7:2.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands.
Right. He said, look, he said the Most High said, I'm gonna give you the Midianites to your hand. And I'll give the Midianites into your hand. What is that slang for? That's slang. That's slang right there. I'll give them unto your hand. That's slang right there. That's black man talk. Right. What does that mean, Quash?
That means you're gonna be successful. You're gonna be victorious.
Right. I'm gonna give the Midianites, unto your hand, but it's too many of y'all. Because if y'all let y'all win because of y'all numbers, y'all gonna think it's y'all that won the fight. Y'all not gonna give me the glory. Y'all gonna give yourselves the glory when that's not true. Y'all winning because of me. Y'all dying because of me.
Right.
Y'all living and dying because of me. Let's get that straight. Go ahead.
Khan. Lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand hath saved me.
Right. See, mine own hand have saved me. We did it. We won. We won. Nah, the Most High. Most High in Christ. That's why we say that all the time. Most High in Christ. The water to the Most High. Because we know we ain't doing it alone. We got that. That's the spirit you should keep in there. Keep here too. Whenever you hear brother, sister, and certain things, like you give yourself glory, like, nah, Most High in Christ, brother.
Right.
It's all the Most High. That's why you'll see a senior brother, you say, dang, Captain Shock, he brought that down all heavy. Mm-hmm. And he be like, nah, the water of the Most High. Mm-hmm. Because it is the Most High. It's not the Lord's with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get back to the part.
Verse 18. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 18.
Uh-huh.
Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. And with the God of heaven.
Read that again.
Verse 18. Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few.
It's no problem. It's not hard for a small group of men to conquer thousands of men. Damn right. It's not hard at all.
Right.
And that's a spirit we got to carry. If you want to increase your spirit, scriptures like this you want to read. Mm-hmm. Increase your spirit, increase your teaching, increase your zeal. Right. These are scriptures you want to read because we're not fighting a small battle. And the water to the sisters too that join us and feed us and walk around with their fringes and dresses and head wraps. Yeah, and they different from the sluts that's on the earth.
Right.
That's why they gotta be we gotta be grateful for them also. Yeah, right. Because they decided not to be the whore.
Right.
Go ahead. Oh, Salaki. And we gotta remember that because we fight a big battle. We fight against America. We fight against the world. Who teaching us to be an Uncle Tom sellout, to be like whoever Uncle Tom you want to think about. That's who, Go ahead, read on.
And with the God of heaven, it is all one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
Right, and with the God of heaven, we gotta remember it's the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 19. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength coming from heaven.
Right, strength comes from the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 20. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us, and our wives and children, and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws.
Right, we fight for our lives and we fight for the laws. That's what we're fighting for. Go ahead and read.
Verse 22. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. Now as soon as he had left off speaking, he leapt suddenly upon them. And so Saran and his host was overthrown before him. And they pursued them from the going down of Beth-horon unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the land of the Philistines. Verse 25. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them. Verse 26. And so much as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas. Verse 27. Now, when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, and even a very strong army.
Right, he can't understand this. Imagine, the UPK. We getting all this. We raising up all these brothers and sisters and fighting and destroying all religions. And now we get to the president of the United States, and they like, man, hold up, somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because they purposely do things to us. They purposely have, gentrify us, kick us out of our land, purposely put, Christianity on us, purposely put drugs in our neighborhood, purposely hire a black woman and tell her if she wants to be an artist in the industry,
Right.
She has to be a whore. She has to rap and sing about whore things and show her body off, show all her breasts and leave nothing to the imagination. And if she does all that, she's gonna be a millionaire. She'll be a multi-millionaire. She'll be selling out, platinums, record selling album and all that. You'll be number one on the Billboard chart. All those things. But then you got some brothers who fight against all that. You got some brothers who fight saying, look, you're an artist and all that, but rap about this or sing about this or leave that contract. Yeah, you're an NBA player, but look, basketball not the biggest thing on earth or not the most important thing. Right now, for LeBron James, that'd be like, okay, this is my top thing to be the best, to try to be the best I can in the NBA. Right. But imagine telling LeBron, like, nah, this is small compared to our fight and black people having their own nation.
Right.
Go ahead.
He got spray painted monkey or something on his garage.
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. He got monkey spray painted. He had niggas spray painted on his garage door. All kind of racist things. But you're telling him, imagine telling him, nah, that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is, fighting for the kingdom, fighting for Christ to come back. And now you have which is going on now. That's why you have FBI agents who are trying to come into the UPK and then reveal themselves as, okay, I'm an agent. Like, the FBI, the CIA had me scope y'all out to see what y'all was doing. But, y'all not, what y'all doing here is not wrong. We have brothers in the past, in the 90s and early 2000s, who were actual agents but revealed their color and said, look, I was an agent for the FBI. And they revealed themselves and they stayed in the school.
Right.
So, right. So, yeah, most of Christ. So you have people you got the government who is trying to stop something righteous. You had, if you watch the latest Black Panther movie, who was it, Judas? Black Messiah.
Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah. Yeah.
Judas and the Black Messiah was the latest Black Panther movie, showing how the FBI try to, any kind of black revolutionary group that had black people or thought they were trying to have black people do the right thing, they would try to stop. They was afraid for black people to stop doing drugs and to join together and do something righteous. It's a threat to their community. It's a threat to their kingdom. Just like if you read books about Christ, to the Romans, Christ was very dangerous. He's a dangerous revolutionary fanatic who would, if the people decided to follow him, it would change the world as they know it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 28. He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them.
Right. So now you got a king gearing up, fully gearing up. Imagine you at camp, and we at camp. You see, every time we go to it was a good thing how we haven't been, we haven't gone to camp a couple Fridays because we were doing different things. But when we finally showed up, It was no police there, but as soon as we got there, all the cops were there to just keep an eye on us, or just to show their presence, or try to. And they getting orders to do that, getting orders just to show up and to stand there, and maybe we're going to react or whatever. But they're doing it on purpose,
right?
Because we're reaching the top. Our message is reaching our oppressor,
right?
And they wanted it to be stopped. They're physically not stopping it, but imagine now they try to physically stop it. That's what's going on here.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 29. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes in the country were small, because of their decision and plague which he had brought upon the land, and taken away the laws which had been of old time, he feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before. For he had abounded above the kings that were before him. Verse 31. Wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia. He determined to go into Persia, there to take the tributes of the countries and to gather much money.
So now what was going on was the king was going broke. The king was going broke. He was paying soldiers who weren't working and weren't going to war for a year, paying them to be on standby. So when I'm be on standby, because I'm gonna need y'all to go to war and fight Judas. I'm gonna need y'all to fight and kill Judas. I'm gonna need y'all to fight them because they coming strong. At one time, King Antiochus is saying at one time I was winning. At one time I had everybody leave their religions. I had all races leave their religion, leave their Buddha, leave their Hindu, leave whatever they worship and follow me. But now this Judas is coming up and going to war, and he's winning. And now a lot of people are being afraid to even, people are hearing about his rumors, and people even afraid to stand up against him now. The rumors now come to my front seat, come up in my face, and I'm paying soldiers to be on standby, and now I'm going broke. And some of them don't even want to fight for King Antiochus. They don't even want to get involved because Judas is too much of a bad cat. Go ahead.
So it just brings in mind Mike Tyson. Like you just knocking people out with one punch. So I imagine but the Lord having a little bit of men defeating whole armies.
Right.
That's like Mike Tyson. You heard he knocked the Baptists out with one punch.
Right. Yeah, there's rumors. A lot of people. At one time, I wasn't. And I was just a kid in Mike Tyson's peak, but I would hear people his age now on podcasts talk about how greatly feared he was in his prime, like how a lot of people was. You just mention his name and you felt like, oh, Mike Tyson, he's scary, But now Mike Tyson has gotten solved, and now before Patrice O'Neal died, Patrice O'Neal was a good comedian. He was he made a joke. He said, hey, Mr. Tyson, I have any jokes for you. I just don't like how white people are comfortable around you now. I don't like that. Because at one time he was, greatly feared. And then once he started acting and hanging around white people and getting, high and all that more, and he just, people still feared him. They didn't have to poke the bear, but it was like, okay, I can joke with him a little bit now. Go ahead.
It's like I said, if I could, it was I seen an interview. He's still that dude.
Oh no,
I seen an interview where he was talking about his former trainer and he started crying and it was a second in there where he was just talking about him and he was getting real emotional and then he was like, yeah, you gotta go, get out, go now. And then they just we gotta stop. Get the shit, get it off.
He told everybody to go?
Concert. He was like, you gotta go. And they started packing their stuff up and leaving.
Yeah, he still feared. Go ahead.
It's a lot, if I may. I didn't get the particular scripture, but the precept what the brother was saying is about, how Mike was knocking about one punch and all that and above. He's dealing with the multitude. In Exodus, I believe it was saying that pretty much when the Lord was staying with us, 7 would flee, or many would flee out off of this 10 men or 5 men, something like that. I can't remember the exact scripture.
Right. So you gotta imagine, us going to war and winning, and there's 1,000 men, but how Mike Tyson shook the world, and now it's 20 Tysons. And 100 men, they're like, nah, like he's too much of a. It's 5 men or 10 men who was like, nah, even if we try to, they scared to even jump Tyson. 5 men scared to jump Tyson. So it was the same thing for them. We had a small number, but it was like these men could take down, one man could kill 20 men or whatever they thought in their mind. It's just a fear. Go ahead. The fear was driving them crazy.
Verse 32. So he left Lysias, a nobleman, and one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the borders of Egypt.
Right. So now King Antiochus is leaving a part of his territory because he's going broke, trying to pay off people to fight for him. So that, you know what? Now I'm losing my money. I need to go now collect money and tribute from Persia. So he left Euphrates and all the way to Egypt to somebody else to watch. Go ahead.
Verse 33. And to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again. Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem, to wit, that he should send an army against them, to destroy and root out the strength of Israel and the remnant of Jerusalem, and take away the memorial from that place. Verse 36. And that he should place strangers in all their quarters and divide their land by lots. Verse 37. So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch, his royal city, the 147th year. Having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high countries. Verse 38. Then Lysias chose Ptolemy, the son of Dorymenes, Nicanor, and Gorgias, mighty men of the king's friends. Verse 39. And with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it, as the king commanded. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emmaus in the plain country. Verse 41. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that the miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in their borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them. They said one to another, let us restore the decayed fortune of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary.
The decayed, it should say decayed estate. What it says, fortune?
What you got there? Verse 44. Verse 43. What you got?
So 43? Yeah.
You say 43.
Let us restore the decay of the decayed estate.
Yeah, he got the right one. Pick up right there.
Wait. Upper Quash, pick up.
Khan.
Right. So now, the king so-called, Passover, gave an order. He left because he was going broke. So he said, I need to go get some money from Persia. But he left half of his army to now someone new for him to take over and go to fight against Judas. And now it started to happen. And now heathens at one time who feared Judas, now they started getting a little bravery because now the enemy was now getting stronger, now making moves to encamp around the Israelites. And now Judas is hearing about it and saying, you know what, let's go restore this. Let's go back to war. Go ahead.
It's like, sir, I got that precept that also Barack was talking about earlier. Is Joshua 23:10. One man of you shall chase 1,000, for the Lord your God, he is that fighteth for you as he hath promised you.
Right. One man shall fight against 1,000. That's when the Lord is with you. You get what I'm saying?
Joshua 23:10.
Go ahead.
verse 43. They said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary.
Right.
Then was a congregation gathered together, that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion.
Right. That's what it's all about. We go out there and fight, but don't forget the most important part, which is the prayer also. You know what I'm saying? Anything you fighting to keep your marriage together. You fighting for your, whatever, children. Fighting for, any when you fighting for any of your people or anything to stay, for us to stay keeping the laws of the Most High, or going to battle to destroy other false religions. Don't forget to pray and the fasting is important also, just as important. Go ahead and read it. Go ahead.
The word congregation, every time I've ever used it, though it's in the Bible used frequently, I was told, it sounds Christian, so we just don't use it, just not to confuse anybody that we Christian.
Right.
Yeah,
so congregation is, or you'll see church. Whenever you see church in the Bible, congregation in the church it means a group of men. Go ahead.
Verse 45. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Maspha over against Jerusalem. For in Maspha was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel.
Right. So we prayed there aforetime. So it's like, okay, we used to pray here. Let's go back there and pray there and regroup there. Go ahead.
Verse 47. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law wherein heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Right. You see that? That's ridiculous. With though, even back then, they were whitewashing or painting, or now taking our prophets and trying to paint the prophets to look like them. They said, wherefore they opened up the book of the laws, and now they send heathen, where the heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images. Because, hold on one second. Just wait 1 second. There's somebody with a key. So they've been whitewashing. Go ahead.
Verse 49. They brought also the priest's garment. They brought also the priest's garments and the first fruits and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, what shall we do with these? And whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profane, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low.
You just gave it the bad. Go ahead.
Verse 52. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest. How shall we be able to stand amongst them, except thou, O God, be our help?
Right. So now that's a question they ask the Most High. The question they ask the Most High is, how can they stand against us? How can we win this battle without your help? And that's what we should do.
Right.
With anything you're going on, with anything or any challenges going on in your life, always pick up the phone and call for counsel, and always pray to the Most High. Always pray to the Most High. And we should continually pray to the Most. What's right? What happened?
You got a troll. Slakia.
What are you talking about?
Some fools Slakia. Somebody on YouTube is like, sorry, but I like Japanese girls, Japanese women.
Oh, they just put that
concept.
I mean, well, you can, you'll just die like that, bro. That's fine. You can do what you want. Nobody's forcing you to do anything, but the Lord could possibly kill you. I mean, just like in the Bible, you had Moses who was speaking, and telling us not to mess with heathen women. And a proud Negro just like you had an actual Japanese, a Moabite, an Asian woman, walk past a group of men with an Asian woman into his tent. A zealous brother with zeal walked behind him, and while he was on top of that Asian woman, he thrust a javelin through both of them. So imagine you, proud brother, being on top of a filthy, disgusting Asian woman who looks malnourished and looks like a 12-year-old boy. You on top of her, and you get your back thrust through with a spear, and now the spear go through your back and through her stomach because you land on top of her, and now you look like a shish kebab. You're a shish kebab now. Right. So, brother, that's fine. The Lord be with you. Lord allow you may change. If you don't change, it's fine. You're gonna lose yourself. Because when you mess with heathen women, you lose yourself and take on their culture, take on their God. So when you wearing the wooden sandals and eating raw calamari and all that stuff, Lord be with you, brother. That's fine. Right. We'll be good without you. Good. I wish all of you would just be honest like him. Give him a hand for being honest. Right. That's fine. You like Japanese women? That's good. We know to stay away from you, brother. Right. Because death is nigh to you. That's right. With that, plastic class of priest and officer Barrage.
Love you. Security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street out of Harlem, New York. I'm the Commander General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shame themselves of the word. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. It means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount that you would like to give. The upcoming holy convocation, would be the Feast of First Fruits, starts after the Sabbath of Unleavened Bread, which would be Sunday, June 20th of 2021. You can find us in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 10 through 22. Also tonight is Commander General YAHANNA's Monday Night Black Watch channel. You understand? You can find it on YouTube. You can repost it on Facebook. Please like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Once again, it'll be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. You want to make sure you tune in, like, share, and subscribe. Salaki, is there anything you want to add on that? Yeah, of course.
If I make my bad, in Daniel 7, verse 9, why is Yahweh referred to as Ancient of Days? If I make
Daniel 7 and 9, if it says Ancient of Days, that's the Most High.
That's the Most High?
Yes, that's the Most High is going to give Christ the order to go with the angels. Whenever you see Ancient of Days, that's not Yahweh, that's the Most High God. Because nobody's more. Yahweh is a man who was in the time of Romans, or Greek, in the time of that period of Rome. He's not that ancient. The Most High is Ancient of Days because he's more ancient than everything. Wow. Go ahead.
That was it, sir.
Oh, let me see. Let me see if I can pull up the cookout dates. Anybody got them? Pull them up. I got them right here. You got them. So we got the upcoming cookouts, I.S.U.P.K cookouts. To get the cookouts in hand. We got the I.S.U.P.K cookouts. You want to come out and join the brothers and eat, drink, and be merry and learn scriptures. We got the first one coming up in Chicago. That's going to start on July 21st to the 25th. Then we're going to have the New York cookout coming up in August 19th through the 21st. We're going to have the Texas cookout coming up October 7th through the October 10th. We're going to have the Las Vegas cookout coming up November 11th through 14th. and we're gonna have a Florida cookout coming up December 2nd through the 6th. That's it.
With that as well, remind Akim and Akwathian to check on social media, just as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black head, and a scarf. And with that, I mean Amajim, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Salaki says you have a seat. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amadi Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Barakatah. Yahweh Saw, which means to turn. Sister, you can stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadi Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Allah, Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Class dismissed. It's a wild class, sir.